and Roger, I know you attended one of our rallies when we last spoke about what was going on in New York State with banning tackle football, 12 and under. A council was formed shortly after, which saying, look, we're gonna nip it in the bud. We're gonna get ahead of New York State, and we're gonna show that we are providing a safe environment for the kids to play. Now we're talking. I was talking with Ray Turpin during the week, and I asked the question, Ray, the vote was supposed to have been in early January. It's in subcommittee. If it passes there, then it goes on for the state lawmakers to vote on it. And, so it was supposed to be then, and if it passed, it would move forward. And at one time, I had read that it looked like they had the votes. Well, they still haven't taken the vote. There's no updates as to when. So now my mind is thinking, because I cover politics on WBEN, I kind of know how the game is played. You don't have the votes, you delay. Right. And that's what it seems to me. And I asked Ray, I said, what do you think? Does it look like they don't have the votes and they're trying to bend arms to get people to go along with it? Because I'm assuming that there's been a lot of outrage from people throughout the state. Like, what are you doing? That's up to the parents to decide, and whatever reason you want to throw in there. So that's where that is right now. So I've invited Katie Hoyle on the program this morning. She's the youth football director for Section 6 for New York State Council on Youth Football. Good morning, Katie.
Good morning.
How are you doing on this chilly Saturday?
I'm trying to stay warm.
Yeah, you and me both. As I mentioned, you're the youth director for Section 6 for New York State Council on Youth Football. And for people who are not familiar, can you go into a little detail what the New York State Council on Youth Football is?
The council is, it's fairly new. We had a meeting in Endwell to try and get people together to form the council. Basically, we are a group trying to bring unity across New York State between youth football programs and trying to bring high school programs in also. The goal is to educate parents, kids, coaches, anyone involved in the programs on the advancements that have been made and are being made to make youth football the safest it's ever been. There's high-quality training requirements for all of our coaches, advanced safety equipment. We want to bring this statewide, bring everyone who's involved together so that we can all follow the same type of program to make sure that everyone is getting a high-quality program, everyone is safe. We are partnering with USA Football and their football development model.
Yep. We unveiled that at Start Point, what was that, in September, I think it was? And that was a pretty neat experience. It was they had the Start Point Youth League out there, and members of USA Football were present, put the kids through drills, and it was great. I had a chance to speak to a lot of the president of USA Football, some of the others involved. It was a great time, very informative.
Yeah, I actually went to the USA Football headquarters in October for a parent. We just kind of sat down with a few parents from various organizations around the country to learn more about the program, to give our input, because we were one of the first few chosen to try and implement some of the aspects of the program.
Let me ask you this. What would the benefit be in teaming up with the high schools for youth football?
To be able to have them on a level where our youth program coincides with what they'll be doing when they go to high school football.
And that's the main thing. Our job as youth coaches is to get kids ready for the next level. We talk about, okay, well, you're coaching the freshman division. Well, your job is to get them ready for the JV. Well, the responsibility of the JV coach is to get the kids ready for varsity. The varsity coaches, it's their job to get kids ready for high school. So if you keep going with that, your kids are going to be ready, and it's going to benefit the high schools.
Yeah, I agree. And, a few years ago, I sat down with our high school program, some of the coaches there, and we talked about trying to, mesh the programs together. And our school used to have a modified program, and they were talking about how our modified program was very different from what the high school program was trying to teach, and trying to have our youth program flow more into the high school program. So what the kids are learning in youth is going to take them through into high school, instead of it being kind of a different approach.
Katie, Kyrie Demos has a question.
So
Sure.
just wanted to ask you about what's the feedback been from the parents in the community that you've been working with? I'm sure they've got a lot of questions and, just thoughts and concerns that they have about the potential of this ban being ruled.
From what I have heard from the parents, they're not happy with it. People do not want this ban being approved. Most of the people I talk to, of course, are our football family anyways. So it's all people who are involved in football, whose children are involved in football. Anyone who's not, that I've talked to, is on the fence. And I think it's because they don't have all the information.
Bingo.
Realize how safe football is.
Bingo. There's so much misinformation out there, Katie,
Yes.
and a lot of it is led by a former NFL player who is really doing injustice by misinforming. And, one of the things that we learned at the rallies that we attended was, anybody could write an article and say, okay, this is what happens to your brain. But unless it's peer tested, peer reviewed, it's just an opinion.
How much of that stuff has happened to their brain from their participation in youth football compared to college or possibly the pros and all that? Right. That's where I think all the serious hits are going. As far as the parents are concerned, to me, there's two classifications. The parents, for the kids that are old enough to be involved, it should be their decision. And for the ones who don't have kids, they seem to be, running the roost and all that. It's those parents who their kids are probably too old and have passed that, and it won't affect them anyway.
And and the other bit of misinformation that's out there is when you have somebody that's trying to make a point of, yes, we should ban youth football for 12 and under, they use the throwback days of when coaches would kick you in the butt, grab you by the face mask and shake your head, or if you complained that you were dizzy, the coach would say, rub a little dirt and get back out there. Those days are so long gone. And Katie, you had mentioned, how we were partnered up with USA Football. The guidelines that they laid down for safety, such as heads up, keeping the head out of contact, has made the game so much safer, as Roger mentioned, that, you got to get all the facts before you can make a decision. So if you know what USA Football is all about, you know the things that we've been doing to make the game safer, you can make an educated decision.
Exactly. And I think one of the biggest things, and part of something the council wants to do, is get the information out there. We want to get it out to, all the parents. The parents are crucial because they're the ones deciding on if their kids are going to participate or not.
And the other thing, too, is that you're trying to team up with all kinds of organizations like the Western New York Amateur Football Alliance to provide services throughout Western New York, various youth programs. It's so important to be able to have contacts and people that you can work with, as a youth organization and above. Yes.
And on the website for the council, it's www.NYSCYF.org. There you can join the council there at a parent level, a membership level, and there's contact information for all of the section directors on there. My name, my phone number, my email's on there. If anyone wanted to contact me, or the representative for whatever section of the state that they're in, you could contact them.
Well, Katie, it sounds like you're on the right direction, and I really applaud the efforts of the council, and I hope more and more organizations get involved. Go to, as Katie mentioned, NYSCYF.org. You get more information. You can sign up for things like that. Katie, keep us up to date as to what's going on, and all throughout the process.
I definitely will.
Thank you. That's Katie Hoyle. She's doing a great job with the youth football. She's the youth football director for Section 6 for the New York State Council on Youth Football.